Picture this. You're about to do something that matters, like ask for a raise. Send the pitch. Walk into that room. And right before you do, the inner voice shows up. You know the one. It's that inner critic that says, "Who do you think you are?" You probably don't even hear it. It's a voice anymore. It's just that thing that makes your hand stop at the door handle. It's the reason the email sits in your drafts for 3 days. It's that little tug that makes you shrink down half a size when you walk into a room full of people and you quietly decided that you're out of your league. And here's what almost nobody realizes. That voice isn't telling you the truth about who you are. It's just running an old program, one that got put into you so long ago that you've mistaken it for yourself. It's a trap, a mind trap. And the reason it works so well is that you can't see the thing that's holding you. Let me show you how this actually happens, because once you see it, you can't ever unsee it. By the time you were about 7 years old, your mind had already downloaded its operating system. Not from a book, but from everything around you. The way your parents talked about money. The day a teacher made you feel stupid in front of the whole class. Something a kid might have said on the playground that you decided right then meant something about you forever. You weren't sitting there weighing any of this, because a child's mind doesn't weigh things. It just records, and it believes what it records. And those recordings harden into a set of rules about who you are and what's possible for you. I'm just not a numbers guy. I'm not the kind of person that things work out for. People like me, they just don't get to do that. Now, here's the part that matters. You never chose those rules. You inherited them, mostly from people who were running their own inherited programs, handed down to them in the same way. So you're walking around running code that a scared little 7-year-old wrote, that got edited by everyone who ever let you down, and you've been calling it your personality. And it runs underneath you, and that's the whole problem. It doesn't feel like a program. It feels like reality. It feels like this is just the way things are. So you live inside its fences, and you never think to question them. It's like a fish trying to notice water. When you're swimming in it, you can't see it. It's just everything. And that's the first wall of the trap. The bars are invisible, so you can never reach for them. So here's the question that should really bug you. If this program is running your whole life, why can't you see it? In fact, why can't anybody? Because the trap has one thing it does better than anything else. It points away from itself. It never lets you look at it. It turns you around to face the world instead, every single time. Now watch how this plays out in real life. A man doesn't get the promotion. Does the program say, "I've been carrying a belief since childhood that I'm not leadership material because my dad called me lazy"? Never. It doesn't do that. It says, "My boss plays favorites. This whole place is political. The timing was bad." And here's the trap closing. Some of that might actually be true. There's always just enough truth on the outside to pin the blame on. So you never have to turn around and actually look inside. Or take a woman whose relationships keep ending the same way. The program doesn't say, "Somewhere along the line, I learned that love leaves, so I push people away before they can leave me." No, it says, "I just keep meeting the wrong guys. Different face, same ending, over and over." And she calls it bad luck. She'll move to a new city, switch apps, change the type of person that she goes for, and never once suspect that the one thing every single one of those relationships had in common was her, running the same code underneath. Or somebody stays broke their whole life and has the explanation down cold. I never had the connections. I never caught a break. Money's just tight right now. And they've been saying right now for 30 years. They'll defend that explanation harder than they ever chase the money because the explanation is doing a job for them. It keeps the cause out there in the world where they never have to face the belief that's sitting underneath of it. That deep down, they don't think they're allowed to have it. And that's the whole trap right there. The mind would rather be a victim of the entire world than admit that it built its own cage. Because if it's the world's fault, there's nothing about you that has to change. And honestly, that's almost comfortable. But if it's the program, then it's on you. And the trap will fight like its life depends on it to keep you from seeing that. Because the moment you do, it's finished. So people go through life on autopilot. Same reactions, same excuses. The same year lived 70 times in a row and called a life. They wake up, the program runs the day. Then they go to sleep, and you never catch it once. Because catching it would mean admitting the enemy was never the boss, or the ex, or the economy, or the bad luck. The enemy is a scared little belief living inside them, talking in their own voice, that never once thought to question. And here's the part that should break your heart. They have the power to change it. It's theirs. It's in their own mind. Nobody else can run it. Only them. Anytime they want. The cell door's been unlocked the whole time. But you can't walk through a door that you won't admit is there. So they stay. Not because they're locked in, but because the trap convinced them the walls are just the world and not something that they wrote, that they created. And that's exactly why most people are going to hear everything I just said and still 10 minutes from now explain their own life by pointing at something outside of themselves. The trap will happily agree with all of this in general and reject every word of it about themselves in the same breath. Yeah, that's true for a lot of people. And the door stays shut. So before we go 1 inch further, I want you to do the hard thing. Don't aim this at people you know. Aim it at the one explanation that you defended your entire life. The reason your money or your love life or your career is the way it is. The reason you're the most sure about it. The one you'd argue with me about right now. That one. That's not the truth about your life. That's the trap protecting itself. And the fact that it feels so obviously true is exactly how you know it's running you. So here's the question this whole channel exists to answer. If this identity got installed without your permission, can you rewrite it with your permission? You can. And not as some wishful thinking thing, but as an actual mechanism, the same way it got there in the first place. And here's what people get wrong. They try to change their life from their outside circumstances inward. A new job, new city, new habits, new goals, more discipline. Pushing as hard as they can toward a life their identity underneath still doesn't believe is theirs. And it works for about 3 weeks. Then the old program pulls them right back in because the program beats willpower every single time. Every time. You can't outdiscipline who you believe you are because the beliefs come first. The behavior just follows it. So if you change the behavior but leave the belief sitting there untouched, you'll snap back like a rubber band. That's not you being weak. That's the trap doing exactly what it was built to do. It doesn't even have to hold the door because it owns the part of you that decides whether you walk through it. which means the only change that ever sticks is the one you make underneath, down to the level of the belief itself. You have to get below the conscious mind, the part that argues and white knuckles, and get down to where those beliefs actually live and rewrite them there. That deeper part doesn't argue. It just takes in whatever it's given, same as it did when you were 7. So how do you actually get down there? Well, you can't think your way in, because the thinking mind is like a bouncer at the door. It's the same part that says, "Who do you think you are?" And it'll turn away every new belief that you try to walk in through the front. That bouncer is the lock on the trap. You get in the same way the original programming did, through a relaxed, open state, with the right words going in at the right depth. That's all mind scripting is. It's the on-purpose version of the accident that shaped you in the first place. Instead of soaking up whatever the world happened to say about you back then, you quiet the front of the mind and then slip underneath of it and feed the deeper part a script that you picked about who you are and what you can do and what you're worth and what's actually possible for you. And that's exactly what we built the Zygon tools to do. Zygon mind scripting walks you right past that bouncer into that open state and lets you lay down a new code on purpose. The beliefs the strongest version of you would already be carrying. Not affirmations that you mumble in the mirror and don't buy for a second, but real rewrites going in at the level that actually accepts them. You're not faking confidence. You're going underneath and becoming the kind of person who isn't performing confidence at all. It's just how they're wired now. And you can start small tonight before you ever pick up a single tool. Just catch the trap once. Notice one moment where the old voice goes, "Who do you think you are?" And instead of obeying it, just see it for what it is. Name it. That's the old code. That's not me. That's one little act of noticing, is the first crack of light under the door. It's the first time you're standing outside the trap instead of caught inside it. And awareness is the one thing that trap cannot survive, because it only works as long as you don't know it's there. So here's where this leaves you. You got handed an identity that you never picked, written by people who were just doing their best with their own borrowed code. And it's been quietly deciding the size of your life ever since. It's not your fault. You weren't even in the room when it got installed. But you're here now. And for the first time, you can see the trap. You know it's running, which means the next version doesn't have to be something that you inherited. It can be something you choose, written by the person you actually are today, put in at a level where it holds and you can live from. The life you always suspected you were meant for isn't some fantasy that you have to go earn. It's already sitting right here, underneath the program, waiting for the moment that you change the code. Now, nothing here is motivational. Nothing here is going to hype you up. It's just the quiet work of becoming someone who's actually living the life that they were given. If that's what you came for, go underneath, and I'll see you on the inside.